Something unusual is happening in our skies right now, and if you live anywhere in northern Nigeria, what I'm about to show you might explain a few things you've been noticing. Flight tracking data from the past month reveals a pattern. A single aircraft taken off from Accra, Ghana, crosses into Nigerian airspace nearly every day, loops across the north for hours, and then returns to base. Now, this isn't a commercial flight. It's not showing up on regular passenger manifest. And according to Reuters, investigation published December 22nd, it's a highly modified surveillance jet operated by a US military contractor. But here is where it gets interesting. At almost the exact same time these flights started, something else happened in Zamfara state that nobody saw coming. Men who used to terrorize entire villages, who made farmers abandon their lands, who kidnapped hundreds of school children. These same men are now on camera begging President Tinubu to stop the bombing. Yeah, you heard that right. Begging. What changed? Why is Washington suddenly watching us from 40,000 feet? And why are Nigerians' most wanted criminals choosing prayer over warfare? So stick with me, because what's unfolding in northern Nigeria right now is bigger than most people realize. And by the end of this video, you would understand exactly how intelligence in the sky is reshaping the fight on the ground. Now, let me start with what we know for certain, because in stories like this, facts are a foundation. According to flight tracking data and reporting from Reuters, the aircraft in question is a Gulfstream V. Now, when you hear Gulfstream, you will start picturing celebrities, an executive sipping champagne at 45,000 feet. Now, that's not what this is. This particular Gulfstream has been stripped down and rebuilt for one purpose: intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Think cameras powerful enough to read a license plate from the edge of space. Think sensors that can track heat signatures in the Sambisa forest. Think listening equipment that can intercept communications across hundreds of kilometers. The operator? A Mississippi-based company called Tenax Aerospace. Now, these guys don't advertise their works. They don't have flashy billboards. What they do have are contracts with the US military for what's called special mission aircraft. And here is where the timeline gets revealing. November 7th, 2025, this exact Gulfstream V was spotted at MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. MacDill, by the way, is home to US Special Operations Command. That's not a coincidence. November 20th, Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Rabadu, sits down with US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in Washington. Now, according to sources who spoke to Reuters, this is where the agreement was made. November 24th, the Gulfstream lands in Accra, Ghana, and from that day forward, it begins flying regular missions over Nigerian territory. Now, official statements from both governments have been careful. The Pentagon told Reuters they had productive meetings with Nigerian officials, but declined to discuss specific intelligence activities due to diplomatic sensitivity. Translation? Yeah, it's happening. We are not just going to tell you exactly what we are looking for. But here is what I want you to think about. Why now? Why, after years of watching Nigeria's security challenges from a distance, does Washington suddenly meet eyes in our sky almost every single day? Now, to understand why this is happening now, we need to rewind 1 month earlier. In November US President Donald Trump made a very public statement about Nigeria. He warned that America could take fast military action if the Nigerian government didn't stop what he called the slaughter of Christians. Now, the Nigerian officials pushed back on this framing, pointing out correctly that both Muslims and Christians are victims of armed groups in the north. The violence isn't neatly sectarian. It's about land, it's about resources, criminal economics, and state collapse in certain areas. But here is the reality of international politics. Trump made a threat, and threats from Washington, especially public ones, tend to be followed by action. Now, 3 weeks later, that Gulfstream was circling Borno State. But there is another layer to this, one that most of the coverage is missing. According to US and Indian media reports, there is an American pilot working for a missionary organization who was kidnapped in Niger earlier this year, and US officials told Reuters that one of the primary missions of these surveillance flights is gathering intelligence to locate him. Now, here is what we need to understand about how Washington operates. When an American citizen is taken hostage, especially someone working in a humanitarian or religious capacity, the US government moves assets. They move satellites, they move drones, they move special operation teams. The priority isn't subtle, it is absolute. So the question becomes, is this surveillance primarily about protecting Nigerian Christians or about finding one American pilot? Or is it about something even bigger? So let's zoom out for a second and look at the regional chessboard. In 2024, Niger had a military takeover. The new military junta kicked out US forces and shut down a major American drone base. Shortly after, they welcomed Russian military advisors. That base was Washington's eye on the Sahel, on jihadist movements, on trans-Saharan smuggling routes. Losing it was a major intelligence blind spot. Now, look at what's happening. Ghana becomes the new hub. Nigeria becomes the new theater. And suddenly, the US has rebuilt its West African surveillance corridor just through a different route. Liam Carr, who leads the African team, analyzed the flight data and said exactly this. Washington is re-establishing its intelligence presence in West Africa after the Niger exit. So when you ask me, is this about Nigeria? My answer is yes. But it's also about Russia, it's about China, it's about who controls access to security information in a region that's becoming more strategically important every year. But all of that, the geopolitics, the great power chess game, that's happening at 40,000 feet. You see, what I want to show you next is what's happening on the ground, because that's where the real story is. So while the Gulfstream has been looping across the north, the Nigerian Air Force has been conducting something they are calling Operation Fansan Yama, and the results have been dramatic. On November 14th, the Air Force announced precision strikes on a major bandit stronghold called Surikam in Tafe local government area of Zamfara. Now, according to their press release, they didn't just scatter the fighters. They destroyed logistic hubs, motorcycle convoys, and supply routes. In July, they hit a convoy of about 150 motorcycles along the Kebbi-Zamfara axis. According to the Air Force, comprehensive intelligence and surveillance helped them track, confirm hostile intent, then strike. Now, airstrikes are controversial, right? There have been reports from local communities about civilian casualties. Investigations are ongoing, and that's a serious concern that deserves careful attention. But what we can see based on verified military statements and community reports is that the tempo has changed. The Air Force isn't doing occasional patrols anymore. They are flying daily missions. They are using better intelligence. They are sustaining pressure in ways they haven't before. And then something extraordinary happened.
Well, according to headlines, they said video shows armed bandits in Zamfara addressing state government and Nigeria Air Force, pleading for dialogue as intensified airstrike escalates military pressure.
Now, these are men who months ago were kidnapping students, attacking markets, making entire communities too afraid to farm their own land. Now, they are recording videos addressing President Tinubu, the Zamfara state government, asking for dialogue, saying, "We are dying," begging for the bombing to stop. Now, security analysts I've spoken to say this is a pattern. Armed groups under sustained pressure try to create political space to regroup. They ask for peace talks, not because they have found religion, but because their logistics are cut, their camps are exposed, and they need breathing room. Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara has been very clear. No negotiations. He watched previous governments sign deals that only funded the next round of attacks. His position, backed by Tinubu's administration, is that the only negotiation happens when they lay down arms permanently. So here is my question for you. Do you believe that these pleas are genuine? Should the Nigerian government pause operations to hear them out? Or should they keep the pressure on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is happening in real time across the country and there is no easy answer. But here is what we can measure. The bandits' behavior has changed. That's data. And according to NAF, statements and local reports, the sustained air campaign is a major reason why. So let's connect the dots. You have US surveillance flights collecting high-resolution intelligence over northern Nigeria since late November. Flight tracking confirms this. You have Nigerian Air Force strikes becoming more frequent and more precise around the same time. Official statements confirm this. Now, no official source has publicly said the US data is feeding directly into Nigerian strike planning. That level of operational detail stays classified for obvious reasons. But analysts watching this say the pattern is clear. Better sensing from above usually leads to more targeted strikes on the ground. Now think about how this works in practice. Without good intelligence, airstrikes are risky. You might hit the wrong target, waste munitions on abandoned camps, or worse, harm civilians. The margin of error is massive. With real-time or near real-time intelligence, you can track movement patterns, verify targets, strike when convoys are in open terrain away from villages. The margin of error shrinks. Now, according to the IMF and World Bank data, insecurity in northern Nigeria costs the economy billions annually through disrupted agriculture, displaced communities, and blocked trade routes. Every month, these groups operate freely. That economic damage compounds. From a system perspective, what we are watching is Nigeria using every available tool. International partnerships for intelligence, domestic air power for strikes, and political pressure to cut off financing and support networks. On December 22nd, a federal high court in Abuja reopened terrorism charges against individuals linked to notorious bandit leader Bello Toji, going after his financiers and logistics suppliers. So you have got intelligence from above, strikes from the air, and prosecution from the courts. That's multi-dimensional squeeze. But here is the question: what happens next? If this pressure works, if armed groups in Zamfara start surrendering or genuinely disarming? Does that model get exported to the northeast against Boko Haram and ISWAP? If it works well, does it make Nigeria more dependent on foreign intelligence? Or does it buy time to build domestic ISR capacity? And if it doesn't work, if civilian casualties mount, or if bandits just relocate to areas surveillance can't cover, what's plan B? These aren't rhetorical questions. They are the actual debates happening in Abuja, in Washington, and in military planning rooms right now. So let me bring this full circle. What's happening in Nigeria right now is a test case of how security partnerships are being rewired across Africa. After the Sahel military takeovers, after Niger chose Russia over the US, after Chad reconsidered its defense agreements, Western powers had to find new anchors. Ghana and Nigeria are becoming those anchors. But this comes with question that every African nation watching this will have to answer for themselves. When you invite foreign surveillance into your airspace, even with good intentions, who ultimately controls what gets seen and what gets acted on? When precision strikes becomes the default response to insecurity, what happens to the lower work of governance, development, and addressing the root causes? And most importantly, are we building systems that make Nigeria stronger and more self-sufficient in the long term, or are we creating dependencies that could limit our options in the future? Now, I don't have those answers. Nobody does yet, because these are still unfolding. But what I can tell you is that the combination of US intelligence and Nigerian military action represents a significant shift in how West Africa's security challenges are being addressed. The bandits begging for mercy in Zamfara, they are feeling it. The geopolitical chess game between Washington, Moscow, and Beijing over African partnerships, it's playing out in real time. And the choices Nigeria makes in the next 6 months about how to use this intelligence, how to protect civilians, how to balance partnerships with sovereignty, those choices will echo across the continent. 1. The US surveillance flights over Nigeria are real. They are daily, and they are part of a larger recalibration of Western security architecture in West Africa after losing the Niger base. 2. Nigerian military operations in Zamfara and the northeast have intensified with more precision and sustained pressure, and the behavioral change in armed groups from threats to pleas suggest the pressure is working. 3. This moment is a test, not just for defeating bandits or finding a kidnapped pilot, but for how African nations can leverage partnerships without losing strategic autonomy. If you found this video valuable, if you've learned something we didn't see in the headlines, do me a favor, share this video, like the video, send it to someone who still thinks international news doesn't affect daily life in Nigeria, because it does, and drop a comment with your take. Should Nigeria continue with this level of military pressure, or is there a better pathway forward? I read every comment, and your perspective makes this community sharper. If you are new here, welcome to the Strategic Lens. We don't just report the news, we decode the systems behind it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, because we are tracking how this unfolds week by week. You see, the sky above Nigeria is being watched more carefully than ever before. The question is whether what's seen from up there will translate into safer communities on the ground. And that's the story we are following. I'll see you in my next investigation. Bye.